And what we're going to do, we're actually going to start with the Trustful Studio, and I'm going to have everyone kind of watch how I do the Trustful Studio, and then we'll do the same thing for the Vestavia Hill Studio. Sound good? Awesome. So step one, what you'll need to do is we need to get this document on the computer, which is called my goal planning template version 5. Now, I actually sent you in the invitation earlier a version 4. I've made a couple adjustments today to it, but let me show you how you find this real quick. So let me just change my screen around. I'm going to show you exactly where it's located in your Dropbox. Everyone should have access to the Dropbox by this point, yes?
Yes.
Cool. Now, I'm going to see if I can do it in my Dropbox. You know, Dropbox has recently changed. Now, if you remember, Ellen, last time I saw you, we were having trouble with your Dropbox and we couldn't access the files. And what Dropbox has done now is they've changed it so not everything is housed on your computer. Things are housed basically on the cloud, and you decide what you see, which is great. It actually saves a lot of room. And I don't have the most updated version of my computer, so I can't show you. But I'm going to show you where you find this document that I'm going to, okay? So you're going to go to your management team Dropbox. I'm doing it on the screen at the same time. From there, you're going to go over to your critical numbers folder. And then you're going to scroll down till you find the document that's called Goal Planning Worksheet Template 5, or Template Version 5. That's the most recent one that we're going to work off today. Okay? And again, it looks like this right here. Now, up at the top, I'm going to go ahead and change. This is going to be for December, so I'm just changing the date. And then this is going to be for the Trustful Studio. All right. And then I'm going to go through each line by line. I'll tell you where we find it. Now, the first one, it says, what is your yearly revenue BHAG? And this is going to be given to you by Melissa. So you guys should have done your meetings with Melissa, I think, earlier this week, and she gave you your goals for all of next year. In the future, that's where that number will come from. So we want to know, what is your total yearly BHAG for the year, okay? And again, that number will come from Melissa. And if you don't have it now, I'll be sure you guys have it by January, okay? And then the next one also given to us from Melissa is going to be, what is our monthly revenue BHAG? Again, BHAG stands for Big, Hairy, Audacious Goal. That number will be given to us. Now, for the Trustville Studio, we don't actually have a revenue goal, just because we're a new studio, and Melissa didn't start doing the planning until January, and so I've created a goal for you. And the goal that we're going to use for your studio is going to be a BHAG of $49,875. Okay, that's going to be our total revenue BHAG. Now here's.
So will that be different than the one Melissa sent?
Melissa should not have sent you one for December, or did she? She sent you one for January. Is that correct?
Never mind. Yep. Yeah, you're good.
And so I want to kind of tell you how I came to this number, just so you know. Literally, I made it up, and I want to tell you how I made that up. The first thing I did is I looked at your auto pays that you had scheduled for next month, so December, and you guys had 37,136 scheduled in auto pays, which is memberships that are renewing. Now, then I went and I looked at the Montgomery Studio when the Montgomery Studio first opened. You guys are very similar to the Montgomery Studio. After their first month, they had 297 members. You guys are roughly 280. So in their second full month of operation, they brought in 45 new members. And so I just kind of, again, used that as a goal. If we added 45 new members to your studio, that would bring in revenue of right under $6,000. Okay? So I took that 37,136, which you already know we're expecting to get from your auto pay, plus 6,000, which we think you get based on Montgomery's numbers. I then took a retail goal. This month you guys did over $10,000 in retail. That's very high, and you won't get that very often, but you're a brand new studio, and you sold a lot of OT beats. So I just set a goal of $4,000 for retail for you guys. The Orange Standard, which means what Orange Theory expects, is 5,000. Most of our studios do about 4,000, so I sent 4,000. If you guys do bring in 45 new members, you should make that in OT Beat sales alone, right? And then I set a late cancel goal of 3,000. Okay. So if you look on the sheet here, and I'll wait till Ellen gets back so she can see as well. Well, I'll plug it in. So the first line here, Jessica, I put the 49,875, which is your BHAG. From there, I'm going to set a retail goal of 4,000. And then from there, I'm going to set a, oops, that's 400, 4,000. 1,000. And then from there, I'm going to set a late cancel revenue goal of 300. So based on this, here's what we know. We know that our overall goal is 49,875. Of that 49,000, we want to bring in 4,000 of retail plus 300 in late fees, which leaves a remainder of 45,575. Okay? And that should come in total membership sales, correct? So now we need to figure out some more numbers here. So the next one is your average value per member, okay? So what is each one of your members worth? And so here's how we find that. I'm going to go to your MBO. So we log in real quick. All right. So I'm going to go to reports. And what I'm trying to figure out is what is the value of each one of your members. I'm going to go to auto pay summary. And again, I apologize, my computer is working very slow. Then I'm going to do this month, since this is the only month we have to gauge of this month of being open. So I'm going to go from 11/1 to 11/27, include point of sales, and click generate. Now I'm going to look over here at this column where it says successful. As of this month, we've brought in $38,025 of membership revenue. And if you divide that, see by the number next to it, 287. So I take 3825 divided by 287, and that comes down to $132 per member. So the average value per member is $132. And I'm going to plug that in right here.
So is that saying we have 287 members?
That's how many drafts we've had this month, yes. That doesn't mean you have that many active members, because you don't, but that's how many payments we've actually made. Okay? So now the next one is the auto pay schedule. No, I'm not sure where that hum was coming from. Cool, I think it is Jessica. Jessica, I kind of muted you for a second, just so you know, because there's a hum coming around. So if you need to talk, just kind of holler at us. So the next one is I need to figure out how many auto pays do I have scheduled for the how much auto pays do I already have scheduled for next month? So how much am I expecting at the beginning of the month? So go back to my report here. Now I want to go to auto pay schedule for next month, the month of December. That's our goal month. So December 1 through December 31, unchecked point of sale because there aren't any yet. But as of right now, this is how much money we should expect for next month. If you go to the scheduled column right here, we have 281 payments scheduled, and we have 37,225 expected to come in. So that's what I'm going to plug right here. What was that number I said? 37,225. 37,225. So Jessica, maybe back to your question. If you see, when I did that report for this month, so next month you've got 281 membership payments scheduled, and that is on par for what you have. This month we actually ran 287, which means you've already got 6 people that do not have another payment scheduled for next month. Maybe because they've frozen or they've canceled. Make sense? So back to my sheet. We've now filled in our goals here at the top. We've found out what is our average price per member. This is how much you are expected to bring in auto pays for next month as of today. Now I want to see how many members do we have expected to be on freeze next month? And you're doing that from the same report. So if you go to the suspend category, right now we've already got 2 members that are frozen. Okay? So I'm going to plug that in right here. We've got 2 members that are frozen, which means that's $264 that we will not be bringing in because they're frozen. And I'm just going to wait till Ellen or Jessica gets back. Ellen, she disappeared. She may have had somebody walk in. So Ellen, I know you had to kind of dip away for a second as well, so I'm just going to go up again to tell you how I found this goal. We got this goal right here for the Trustful Studio. Their revenue goal for the month, their BHAG is $49,875. Okay, that number came from Melissa. Okay. Now, of that, we are expecting to bring in 4,000 of retail, and we're expecting to bring in another 300 of late fees. So, out of that total, that should leave a remaining 45,575 that we should expect in membership. Okay. Now, of that 45,575, we've already got 37,225 that is planned to come out as part of the auto pay already. Make sense? Cool. And then I'll keep going down the list as soon as Jessica gets back. All right, Jess. So where we were is we just determined that you've got 37,000 expected to come in auto pay next month. You've already got 2 members on freeze, which means that's $264 that we're not getting because they're on freeze. The next one is, how many members are we expecting to unfreeze?
Is that 2 the averages together?
Correct. We took the number 2 times the average of 132, gave us the 264. And it's just an estimate, just so you know, it may not be an actual number. We're just doing some averages here. So now we need to figure out how many members are expected to unfreeze, because when I pulled your auto pay report, that did not include anybody that is maybe projecting to unfreeze as the month goes on. Now, you as a new studio probably don't have anybody planned to unfreeze because you're a new studio. Now, Ellen, you'll have more, and once we get to your studio, we'll look at that. But I want to show you how I find that report still. So I'm going to go to my reports. Then we'll go to my membership report. Is your guys' mind body working slow, or is it just mine? Has it been an issue today at all?
Mine's been a little funky that I'll be logged in and it looks like I'm logged out. So I think it's also ready for Thanksgiving.
Mine's working very slow. All right, so I went to reports, I went to membership, and now I'm going to go ahead and click generate. And now I'm going to scroll down. You see where it says right here, suspension lifted in 30 days? I'm going to click that button right there. And now I'm going to change my date range. I want to know what suspensions are being lifted during the month of December. So I'm going to go from December 1 to December 31. You see where it says non-auto renewing? I want to change that to all, and then click generate. Now it shows nothing. Right here, it would show you any members that were scheduled to come off during the month of December. In this case, again, new studio, there's nothing. So now right here, I'm just going to put 0. Now, if I would have put a number, for example, I'm just going to put 2 in there. It would now show me a value here. So now this would add back to my expected revenue. But in this case, it's 0. The next one is, how many members am I expecting to cancel? Because if you remember, our focus for the month, for the year is nothing but net, right? And so we're trying to get net gain. So to do that, I need to know how many members are expected to cancel. To do that, you're going to go to your OB. Now, you guys should have your password stuff to OB. If not, we'll be sure how to get it to you. So I just need to change my browser. Give me 1 second. All right. So my OB is going to look a little bit different than your OB because mine has every studio attached. Yours will just have just your studio. But let me log in real quick. Now going back here, it says, again, this column here should tell you where to find your data from, okay? And so it says OB CTA. Now that stands for call to action. So you see right here, this tab call to action. So I'm now in my OB platform. I'm going to click on my call to action tab. Now I'm going to scroll through until I find the one that says upcoming terminations for the month. All right, so now I'm loaded. And now you see right here it says this week. I want to change that, and I want to go click my date range, and I want to go to next month because I'm doing this for the month of December. I'm trying to estimate how many people are canceling. So now if you look up here, I'm attached to every single studio. So I'm going to go ahead and unselect all of them, and now click just on the Trustful Studio. So as of right now, for the month of December, Trustville is expecting to lose 6 members. Okay, so now I go back over here. I'm going to put estimated cancel, 6. So now what I know is basically $792 I'm not going to be getting in my auto pay this month that we received the prior month. Okay?
Does it tell you which members?
I could, if I dig a little deeper, I can, yes. So now going down, I've got some data. So based on this, okay, I need to bring in 45,000 in membership sales. Of that 45,000, 37 is already expected to come in the form of auto pay. Based on everything else, that now tells me that I need to make up the difference of $8,350 or 63 new members. Okay, so basically I just took this 8,350 divided by my average price per member of 132, and that gave me the number of 63. Okay, so that's our goal right now for the month of December, is to get 63 new members. Now the next line, it says expected net gain. So how it does that, it takes 63 minus my 6 that I'm expected to cancel, gives me my expected net gain should be 57 new members, which is great. Okay. Now down here, there's some comparison notes. This lets you kind of do some historical guessing. But so how many new members did you have for the goal of the prior year? Well, we don't have a prior year for Trustful, so we're brand new, so our number is going to be 0. Okay. What is your average new member for the month? So again, it's a brand new studio, so 0. Now for Ellen, you'll actually have some data here, and I'll show you how to find that. Okay. And we don't have an annual projection yet because, again, we're a brand new studio. I'll repeat that several times. So then the next thing we put here is our auto pay trends. And what I'm going to do for each month, I'm just going to take this auto pay number, copy, and I'm going to paste it because that's what I'm doing in December. And what I like to do is, and the only purpose of looking at the auto pay trends is just that, is to see the trends. In the perfect world, every month, you should see your auto pay growing. If your auto pay is growing each month, what that tells us is we have gained more members than we lost. If you start seeing your auto pay going in the wrong direction, going down each month, that basically means that you're losing more members than you're bringing in, and that's not what we want. Okay? So based on this, we need 63 members as our BHAG to hit our goal. So now I'm going to go down here, and you see this little goal setting tab? I'm going to type in right here, and so I shaded orange. I'm going to type in 63. Based on that, it automatically calculates my target. And I'm actually going to take away this. We're not going to have a minimum this year, so I need to remove that. So our actual 100% goal for new members for the Trustful Studio is 54 new members. Our BHAG is 63. Make sense? So what I did is I found out first the BHAG, the big number, and then I just basically took 85% of that BHAG to get my target. Okay. Now from there, we also set a member mix goal. And what I do is we just take basically our BHAG, which is 63. And do you guys remember what the Orange Theory corporate member mix percentages should look like? How many premiers to elites to basics?
60, 40, 20?
So 60, 40, 20 would actually be 120, just so you know.
Well, I stand by my answer.
But no, it actually should be, according to Orange Theory Corporate, it's 50, 40, 10. So 50% premier, 40% elite, 10% basic. Now, we at Nichefitness, we never want to sell basics. And so we actually do 60, 40. And so we want to have every month 60% Premier and 40% Elite. So you were kind of right, Ellen. You just did your math a little differently than most people. So here's now what we know. We know that our goal for BHAG is we want to bring in 63 new members for Trustville in December. Of the 63, we want 38 to be Premier, and we want 25 to be Elite. When we do that, we will have a net gain of 48. Make sense? And so basically, this is our goals. And we now know, if you go down for our revenue goal, our 100% target is we want to have a revenue goal of $48,593. Of that 48, 44 is going to come from just membership sales. The rest will be retail and late fees. Okay. Our BHAG is going to be 49,841. Of that 49,000, 45 will be membership. And again, the rest will be late fees and cancellations. Make sense?
So would our goal for the month be to target 100%, or would it be the net member gain goal?
And it's really kind of both. Here's what you want to go. Ultimately, we want to have a net member game of positive, right? But what we're going to focus on right here is 63. We're going to shoot for 63 new members. And that is what we want to press out to the team. Here's our goal, 63 members. Now, that's the whole purpose of the BHAG, is we're shooting higher than our actual needs. But if we hit our BHAG, awesome. You know, that's just going to set our next months up for easier success. If we don't hit our BHAG, hopefully we'll fall short of it, but we'll still actually beat our actual 100% goal. Make sense? And so you really want to know both numbers. And what I like to tell the team is, from the start of the month, let's focus on the BHAG. Let's hit that BHAG. Now, as we get near the end of the month, we want to start maybe shifting the focus to be sure that, okay, maybe we're not going to hit our BHAG, but can we still hit our 100% goal? Because at the end of the day, that is the most important thing, is to hit our 100% goal. If we hit our BHAG, it's just gravy. Everybody makes more money, you know, and it just sets your next months up for success. Make sense? But based on this, if we do everything, we should have a net member gain of 48 new members. Now, did that make sense how I walked through everything? So now I'm just going to save this, and I'll show you where I save this. So I'm going to go to File, Save As. You want to save this in the management team Dropbox. Then go to critical numbers. Then you're going to go down to your studio. So this is the Trustville studio. So I'm going to go to the Trustville weekly KPIs. And then within that, you'll see a folder called 2019 Monthly Goal Planning. That's where I'm going to save it each month. And I'm just going to change the name to Goal Planning Worksheet Trustville 2019. So now
This may be a dumb,
go ahead.
this may be a dumb question, but would it make more sense to save it in the monthly folder?
You know, honestly, that's just where I've always put it. It might make more sense. You're absolutely right, but that's just where I've always put it. And we can maybe change that for 2020. That's just where I have it now. But yeah, the main thing, as long as we know where to find it, you know what I mean? Now, once you've completed your goal planning worksheet, you're now going to send this to me, Allison, Melissa, and Lauren. And what Allison is usually the one that approves it, but we're all going to look over it just to make sure everything makes sense, and just to kind of double check everything. Okay? And then Allison will then reach back out to you, say, hey, Jessica, your goals are approved. And then from there, we want to get the message out to the team about their goals and stuff like that. And we'll talk about that in a minute, but I first just want to talk about how we actually get the goals. Cool? So really, if you just kind of follow the sheet from the top to the bottom, it should walk you through each individual step. And again, right here in this column here, it tells you, for the most part, what report to go to. Sound good? Any questions, Jessica, so far? So now we're going to do the same thing, except we're going to do this for Ellen's. Okay? So let me close out of this. Now what I'm going to do to make this a little easier, Ellen, and if you follow me on my screen here, I'm going to actually pull up your goal setting sheet for last month, because it already have some of our data inputted there that I don't have to re-enter. So I'm going to go to, again, Management Team Dropbox, Critical Numbers, I'm going to go to the Vestavia Hills weekly KPIs. Then I'm going to go to the 2019 goal planning. Then I'm going to go to the one that says November. And this was the worksheet we did last month. And we're just going to change it and resave it for December.
Okay.
All right. So go back to the top. And I'm going to go up here, December. Now, again, some of the stuff is already inputted. So your goal for the year for your studio was $1,059,000. Okay. Your monthly revenue for last month was $93,000. I'm going to delete that. So Melissa gave us some updated goals, and we sent those out at the on October 30th. And so I'm going to pull it up real quick so you can see them. So bear with me. So back on October 30th, if you look at my screen now, we set updated goals. I'm going to make it a little bigger. Give me a second. And this is the goals that we set for all the studios. Okay, as you'll see, there is no trust bill because we didn't set your goals yet. But so for Vestavia, actually, that's the wrong one, sorry. Let me find the one I... Hold, please. Here it is. All right, so for Vestavia, your December BHAG revenue goal is $93,105.84. I'm going to go plug that 93,100. I'm going to just round it at 93,104.
Okay.
So right here, 93,104. Now we want to set a retail goal. Do you know what you guys did for retail this month by any chance off the top of your head?
We're at almost 5,000.
Okay, so I'll probably keep 5,000 the same. Now, if you noticed that over the past couple months, maybe you were doing, 5,500 for your retail, I would obviously bump your goal up. But for now, we'll keep it at 5,000. The next one we want to find is going to be your late cancel revenue. To do this, you're going to use the average of your last 3 months. So here's how I do that. I'm going to go, and I need to change to the Vestavia Studio real quick, so give me a second.
And is 93, is this our BHAG goal or 100% goal?
BHAG.
Okay.
Yep, and the exact number should be 93,105.
Hold on 1 second.
Hey, Jessica, while she's on the phone, do you have any questions or anything so far?
I have a question about the KPIs. The weekly KPI, do we do it the following week for the week previous?
Yeah, so let me pull it up real quick. So I'm just gonna pull up Vestavia's just because I'm in their box here. So typically KPIs will be done on a Sunday night or Monday morning based on your schedule. And so, for example, today's the 30th, right? And so as of this Sunday, which will be what so Saturday is the last day of the month, basically. So Sunday, you'd want to do your KPIs for this week here, which is the 24th to the 30th. Make sense? So you're doing it for the week prior.
I'm back.
Okay, so where we were we were figuring our goals out. We know that your revenue BHAG is 93,105. We know that we're going to set our goal for retail at 5,000. Now we're trying to figure out what we should set our late cancel goal for. And so we're going to go to your MBO. I'm going to go to reports. I'm going to go to sales by service. And I'm going to pull a date range for the past 3 months. So today is the, I'll do starting day yesterday, since today's not a full day. And I'm going to go back to 9/26. And that's going to give me 3 full months of data, right? 9, 10, 11. Then I'm going to click go. Now, as I scroll down, I'm looking for the category that is just late fees. So right here, you see over the past 3 months, we've brought in a total of $5,028 in late fees. If you divide that by 3 months, that comes to an average of $1,676. So we had a pretty high average last time. I'm not sure if it was higher recently or what, but based on this report, we've had much less late fees. So again, a 3-month average. Make sure I got my dates right. 9, 10, 11. Yeah. So for a 3-month average, we're at 1676. So what I'm going to do here. Do you know what your late fees are month to date by any chance? I guess I can figure out real quick too. I'm just curious.
1,600 range. Let me.
I can pull up right here too as well. So as of this, you're at 1740. Okay. So we came up with the average of 1676. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go ahead and let's do a goal of 1,800 for December. Okay. So now here's what we know. Our overall BHAG is 93,105. Of that, we're going to bring in 5,000 of retail and 1,800 of late fees, which leaves us a remainder of 86,305. Okay, that's how much. So now let's do a little more calculating. Last month, we found out that your average price per member is 121. Let's see what it is now. Okay, I'm going to go back to my auto pay summary. And I'm just going to pull all my membership payments month to date. Click generate. And I'll show you why this is an important number here in a second. So we've had a total of 65,537.99 divided by a total of 559 payments month to date, which means your price per member is $117.
Okay.
So now if you look at this, last month it was 121. Now it's 117. What does that tell you?
We're getting smaller memberships.
You're selling more elites. Yep. And so that's why you saw Jessica's was so high. They're a brand new studio coming out of pre-sales. They should be much higher. Most studios I find are typically like around 124. But that's a good trend to look at. And this isn't a positive one, but that's something to look at. If you start to see your price per member is going down, that lets you know that, okay, we're now selling more elites than premiers and our member mix is off. Okay. So right now you guys have decreased a little bit. Now you might have several premier memberships over the next couple days, and that could change a little bit, but as of right now. So let's look at something just for, what's up?
We knew that we were kind of trending more towards elite than premier. So we worked on some sales training and things.
So I'm gonna look at October just to kind of see what it is based on a full month, okay? So we had 74,748, and I'm looking at this number here, divided by 627, and that was $119. So we're floating between 117 to 119, okay? I'm going to go ahead and put 119 up here just since that is a full month. Okay, so now we need to figure out how much do you have already coming in December for auto pays. So that I'm on the report already, so I want to change my month to December 1 through December 31. And as of right now, if the month ended today, this is how much money we expect. And the number is $70,992. So that's the number I plugged right here, $70,992. Okay. The next one is how many do I estimate on freeze? In the same report. As of right now, you've got 34 frozen members. That's a lot, by the way, too, just so you know.
Yeah.
So you've got 34 frozen members, which equates to about $4,046 that we're not bringing in because they're frozen. So that's key. The longer these people are on freeze, the harder it's going to be for us to hit our financial goal. So that might be a strategy for you, is to reach out to some of these frozen members to see, do they still truly need to be frozen? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And we're finding we're finding some things. Like we have someone right now that he's on freeze and he thought he canceled back in May. And yeah, so we're working through it and figuring out who these people are.
Understand. So now let's look at the next column, which is how many people are scheduled to unfreeze. Okay. So this is money that we want to add back to our revenue at some point during the month, but currently it's not in our auto pay. So I'm going to go back to my reports. I'm going to go back to my membership report. Click generate. Now I'm going to scroll down until I find the one that says suspension lifted in 30 days. Now I'm going to set my date range for December 1 to December 31, because of course that's the month we're setting goals for. Right here where it says non-auto renewing, I'm going to change that to all, and then I'm going to click generate. Now something I'm going to do real quick, if you notice up here for some reason, see my date range, it defaulted to today's date, so I'm just going to change my date range again. That happens sometimes, I wish I knew why, but I want to fix that. So here's the good news. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 members that at some point throughout December will be unfreezing, which means we'll be adding that revenue back to our projections, basically. So I'm going to add 5, which is the same as last month. So at some point throughout the month, that should add roughly about $595 back to my revenue. Now, let's go see how many members are set to cancel, which is line 17. So we're going to go back to my OB report. And I'm going to go uncheck Trustville. And click Vestavia Hills. So you guys have 27 people as of today that are scheduled to cancel. All right, so I'm going to go back to my spreadsheet here. And I've got 27 members scheduled to cancel again, which means that's $3,000 that I will not be getting in my auto pay next month because they're canceling. So you can see how big of an impact that has on our financial, all those cancellations. So as of right now, based on the numbers we just input, we need to bring in $14,718 in new membership revenue, or a total of 124 new members, which is a lot, right?
Yeah.
So this, I forgot to mention this, I told you I made a couple changes to the goal sheet, and we actually did Jessica's goals based on the new one. Right below here on the new sheet, it should say your net member gain and stuff like that. So I'll have to transfer the data over eventually, but I just want to show you. So now we want to look at some history. Right now, to hit our BHAG revenue goal, we need 124 new members. So now let's look at our history and see how do we do that, okay? So now I'm going to go back to my KPI folder. So again, OTS management team, critical numbers, KPIs, and I'm going to pull up my KPI sheet for 2019.
Scott, just a question. That 14,000, do we deduct our retail dollars and our late fees from that number?
Nope, that's already been done. So if you go down up here, so how this 14,000 came about is we found out that our total revenue is 93 minus 5,000 of retail minus 1,800 of late cancels gives us a remainder of 86. Okay?
Okay.
Now we know that 86 is now what we need to do in membership. Of that 86, we're already expecting 79.92, right? Plus, we'll be adding back 595 at some point because they're unfreezing, which leaves us a difference of 14,718. 14,718 divided by our average price per member of 119 gives us 124 new members needed. Make sense? So now let's look at history. How many new members did you do last December? So I pulled up my KPIs. I want to go to my summary tab. And here is 2018 right here. And last December, you did 30. Okay? And so now that's what I put in here. You did 30. The next one is, what is your average new member gain for the month? So now I'm going to go back here again. And what is my average for the entire history of this studio? So I just take these three numbers. The computer will average it for me. So you've averaged 35. Okay? So go back here. And now my average is 35. Now let's look at our auto pay trends. Right now we have 7,992 scheduled for auto pay. I'm going to plug that in right here. And so you see in November, for example, we had 71,000. December we have 70,000. So that's going in that trend that we don't want to see. Our auto pay is reducing. We should always see the auto pay going up. And if you look at this, the course of the year, in January, 72,000. February, 78, big jump. And then we went down to 77, down to 73, down to 69. It's basically been, ever since January, February, it's been trending in the wrong direction. And that's been the biggest problem, which tells us we've been basically losing more members than we're gaining each month. So a lot of that, of course, is what you're inheriting, unfortunately. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're going to get that. That's what we're going to get turned around.
Yep. So now here's the challenge. We need 124 members to hit our goal. We're averaging over the life of the studio 35 in December. So how do we make up that difference? Now the reality is we may not make up the difference. But here's what we want to do. We've got 27 members set to cancel. Can we maybe change that? You know, can we save them? Because say we could save 10 of them. Now our goal will come down to 114, right? Still likely unattainable, but it's better. And this is what we're talking about at Quarterly Offsite, where we ran into problems. This year, we would see this number of 124. And instead of saying, okay, let's get 124, we would just reset it and say, okay, well, let's go for 40. And what that did, that created that snowball effect, which got bigger and bigger each month, which made us further and further away from our goals. So again, it is likely that we will not be able to hit our goals this month still, but now we got to figure out is what can we do. So we know, again, 124 is what we need. We've averaged 35. And really down here, we need 124, right? So now the next question is, what do we think we can do? And moving forward into 2020, and this is where Lauren has been real strong, like our goal is our goal. If it says that we need 124, we need 124. That's the bottom line. What we did most of this year is we reset our goals because we may have started off the year bad or something like that. So we're in a bit of a tricky situation now because I could safely say we're not going to get 124 members, right?
Right.
But we know that we did 30 last year. We know that we've averaged 35. You know, with the promotions, we should easily be able to do 40 to 45, right? You know, and that's our BHAG. So that puts us at a 138. We can do better than that. So let's say we set our BHAG for 50. That puts us at our goal of 43. Now we still have 27 set to cancel, so 43 minus 27 still puts us at a net positive 16. You know, that might be the best we can do. You know what I mean, for this month. It still puts us at a net 16.
Which would be one of the biggest nets the studio's had.
Yep.
You know, because we've been flat or losing, just looking at past data.
Yep. So let's look at this. So say we actually are. So our goal is 43 minus where we know we're losing 27, and that's a net of 16. And what if we're able to save some of those cancellations? You know, maybe the net could be better. So how do you feel on that? You know, based on what you see as the history, last year they did 30. Do you think, 50 and 43 is doable?
You know, I think that it is. I think that the team is starting to gel. I've been doing some just individual sales training. We went over our process in the last meeting. So we're working on getting our closing percentage up. I also in December talked to Josh about doing a referral and receive promotion to try to get some more self-generated leads from our members in December. So, I mean, it's quite possible.
Good.
You know?
So we might tweak this a little bit still, but what we don't want to run into for the future is we don't want to see this right here. We don't want to see 124. If we're seeing that big of a number, that lets us know that we've missed the target in prior months. And as you said, we've pretty much been missing the target every month since February. And each one just kind of compounds on top of the other. So what I'm going to say is let's start with this. Let's start with the goal of 50 and 43. We might have to tweak that a little bit, Yeah, we might have to tweak that a little bit, but let's start with that. And that's really what I wanted to show you guys is that's the process. Okay, starting with what our revenue goal is, working backwards to what we think we could do in other categories, using the data, and then coming to a goal. And like I said, all the stuff that's shaded orange is what you input numbers. The stuff that's shaded white will auto-calculate for you based on formulas I've built in. So as long as you just follow step by step, it should kind of walk you through it pretty easily. Cool? So what questions do you ladies have for me?
I don't think I have any right now, but that could change when I actually do the sheet by myself.
How about you, Ellen?
Can you tell me I may have just been looking at the wrong number, but what is our 100% goal for November?
So let me save this file real quick, and I'll look back and see. Give me 1 second.
And is December typically busier than in October and November?
Nope.
That scares me. I know that she changed the numbers, but we're trending right now to do around 86 in November. So then the idea of going from an 86 to a 93 is a big jump.
Yeah, so here's your November. Your November, your 100% for total revenue was 87,293.
Okay.
And your BHAG was 88,546.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And now so for this one, the one we just did, it's obviously less. Right now it's 83,444 and 84,000. And again, we may adjust that a little bit, but that's kind of our first version.
And this one is for this month. It's
here's November. I want to highlight this for you. So you'll see the 100% of 87,294, and then the BHAG is 88,546.
Okay.
So December is actually less than November at this point.
Go back to December. I thought you said that the December goal was 93,000.
Well, that is what we totally said. And like I said, that's why we need to adjust it, because that was our original BHAG. We adjusted it down, but remember, to do that, we need 124 new members.
Right. Okay.
Remember that?
And so what is our percent goal for December?
Well, it's not set in stone yet. I still need to talk to Allison about that, because going back up here, this is really 93,105. Our 100%. Let me find out what our 100% is. Give me 1 second. I'll find that for you. I have it somewhere. So bear with me. So our 100% goal for December for Vestavia, I have is 90,469.
Okay.
And so ultimately, we'll have to tweak that to meet this number.
Okay.
So let's play with this a little bit. So to get 90,000, you do 95. It's gonna be tough.
And I'm waiting on a credit card to sell up Premier.
Okay, no problem. It's not gonna be possible.
Sure.
So Jessica, while she is on the phone, we're pretty much done. I wanted to show you how to do that. The next step is to, we'll review them with Allison, make any tweaks, and after we've got them completely approved, and then I will show you how to pass these out to the team.
Okay.
Cool. And for you, Ellen, like I said, if you look back here, for you to really hit the 90,000, which is our 100% goal, we need 119 new members. So now we just have to have that dilemma as, okay, yes, that's what we need, but obviously, is that realistic? You know what I mean? But I'm going to keep it at 119 for now, and then we'll talk to Allison, see what she wants to do.
Yeah. And I mean, we're working on, I feel like we're going to have a great 2020. We're working on getting our closing percentages up. For months, we haven't had an OCCI tablet or a burn sell sheet to sell the burn with a membership, which we've gotten in place. We actually ran out of burns, so we had to borrow 10 from downtown.
Okay.
So we're getting things moving in the right direction. It's just we've got to figure out our floor, and then we can start moving to the ceiling.
Yep. And like you said too, we're kind of digging out of a hole right now, and we want to start off January at least on level ground. You know what I mean? So.
Exactly. So if we've got, like, I found somebody who they thought that they were canceled from back in May. I'd rather just go ahead, and I've sent her the correspondence to see, what do we need to credit, what not. And so just figure out what it is so we can have ourselves set up just to move forward in 2020.
Now tell me more about the situation. Why did he think he canceled? Did he submit a cancellation form or what?
It's a husband, it's a man and his 2 daughters. And he said, I've just realized I've been being charged $99 when I thought that I had canceled. So he wasn't canceled. He was just put on freeze, but a $0 freeze.
Mm-hmm.
So he hasn't been being charged. One daughter was canceled in July, or she was canceled in May. His other daughter filled out a freeze form for May until June. She was taken off of freeze in June and charged $99 a month. There are no contact logs. She hasn't been to work out here since May. There are no contact logs of low usage. nothing like that. So I think that in her mind, she maybe thought that she was never coming off of freeze, and she thought that she was just staying off of it. But there's absolutely no contact with the daughter from May until now, when he just kind of took a deeper dive into his Amex bill.
So frustrating to hear that, and I know you know this because that's been kind of your mantra, Ellen, is follow the process, and this is good for Jessica here as well. And here's how the freeze process should work. Step 1, they come in to fill the freeze form. Step 2, we actually process the freeze. Step 3, we send them a confirmation that shows them the specific dates, start date, end date. Here's the next draft date, and then step 4. 1 week prior to their freeze finishing, we should be giving them a call to get them scheduled for a class. If we do those 4 steps, this problem does not happen,
Right.
Because when we called her to reschedule her, at that point, she could have said, hey, I thought I canceled, or I need to freeze longer. And it wouldn't go 6 months. So, again, and I know this has been your mantra, but if you follow the processes we have in place, none of this happens.
Right. And then, I told Courtney how I want freeze to happen. If it's an injury, I want 2 weeks into the freeze, I want her to call and just do a friendly check. How we do it. Not, we just forgot about you. We've got to get your money, and let's be in communication. And she's agreed she agrees that that's the best way to do it. That it should, yeah.
So here's a great opportunity for the two of you as new studio leaders to use this stuff as examples. Bring these exact cases to your team and say, hey, if we would have done step 1, 2, 3, and 4, we wouldn't be in this problem. I'm going to give you another example at another studio. I just got a Listen 360 from another one of our studios. It was a 0 out of 10. And it was a wife that was very unhappy because she had her daughter come in town from California, wanted to take a class. They also wanted to have the father come as well. The father was told to be there 30 minutes early. Okay? How early should we tell them?
45 minutes.
45. So he got stuck in traffic and was 10 minutes late. And so they couldn't let him into the class. They were pissed about that, And I don't know how they handled it there, but how the woman made it sound was they were very rude. That could be very subjective. Who knows? But my point is, if you would have followed our process to invite them in 45 minutes early, if he was 10 minutes late, guess what? He's still in time that we can do everything. And I went back and looked at the contact logs, and it said, your workout's at 9, be here at 8:30. So the fitness specialist told them, plain as day, be here at 30. They didn't follow the process, And so it's really frustrating when you've got good systems and processes in place and people aren't using them, and you run into problems because of that. And so that's what I want to stress to you guys, and Jessica and Ellen, both as new leaders, follow the process. If everyone does it, things run so smooth. And that's why I always tell people, a lot of the systems and processes that we have in place today are because we ran into those problems. We figured this out when we opened Montgomery, and we did all the wrong things, And the cool thing is we made changes, and it worked. But now there's so many stories of people just not following the process. And I know I'm kind of preaching to the choir here, but I love to use these examples to my team. Hey guys, here's why we use 45 minutes, and use that example that I just shared with you. And as a matter of fact, I'll be happy to send you the actual Listen 360. I'll knock out the guilty parties so you have no idea what studio it is. But so that way you can use that example with them of here's why we say 45 minutes. Here's why we do step 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the freeze process, so on and so forth. And I'll send that stuff to you guys so that you can use it as a good learning moment for your team. Yes, okay. Jessica.
And then so
hold on 1 second. Sorry, Ellen. Go ahead, Jessica.
Obviously, I've had to call you recently about freezes and different logistics and stuff. If I were to type up just like an execution guide for myself to have, like if someone wants to freeze or whatever, and if I do that and I send it to you, can you just double check and make sure I'm doing it correct?
How about I just send you the one that I've already got created?
That would be awesome. I get really confused on the logistics of when they should come off freeze, when they should be charged, that kind of things. I know that it drafts out at a certain time. Yep. But like if someone's draft date's like November 8th, does that mean it's going to come out on the 8th every month, or does it depend on how many days are in the month?
If their draft date's on the 8th, it should come out the 8th every month. Now, what I'll do is I'm going to send you guys both 2 documents. One is something I put together called the Studio Leader Playbook, which basically gives all these steps and processes, And then Claire also created one that she took the one that I have and she modified it a little bit. I'm going to send you both. So you guys can both look at them. Take some notes. If you have any questions, hit me up. But all the stuff that you just mentioned should be in there. And I'll send that to you as soon as we get off this phone call here. Cool? But other than that, we are done, ladies. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys jump off the line. I know we've been on the phone call for an hour now. We now have kind of a preliminary set of goals. I'm going to go ahead and send these out to Allison, and I'll CC you on the emails. We'll make any tweaks that are necessary. Once these are approved, I will talk to you guys about how we deliver these to the team. Sound good?
Okay. Yes.
Cool.
Thank you, Scott.
All right, ladies. If I don't talk to you later today, have an awesome Thanksgiving. And we'll talk to Ellen sometime in the future. I do want to talk to you, unrelated to this, about your New York trip, because that's something I've been wanting to do with my kids for a while. So I want to kind of pick your brain a little bit. So
yes, absolutely. Yes.
So we'll talk later about that.
Perfect.
Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Talk to you later.